And live on YouTube with Lauren Munt and weather with Tom Tiefertiller.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us for First Alert 7 News on the CW, and thanks to those of you joining us live on our YouTube. I'm Lauren Munt, and we're going to start tonight with a look at weather with Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller. Tom, it's been a chilly day across the Permian Basin. Are we going to see that tomorrow too?
It looks like tomorrow we're going to see a little bit of a warm up as we're heading towards Thanksgiving. Another cold front, though, is on the way. Here's a look at your first alert when it comes to what we're dealing with the Thanksgiving. Well, first off, winds are going to become a little gusty tomorrow. There could be some blowing dust. First a west wind and then a northeast wind across the area. It's going to be some decent travel weather, I do believe. Now, once you get into the Guadalupe Mountains, that's where we'll see the strongest winds across the area. So could be some difficulty there on US 62 180. But other than that, though, we're going to see a cold front arrive tomorrow evening, make for a chilly Thanksgiving day. Here are the numbers for you as we are going to be seeing a big warm up tomorrow thanks to a west wind with those gusty winds, 78 degrees. But that front arrives late in the day. That's going to drop temperatures down to the 30s. First thing Thanksgiving morning, 51 for the afternoon high with a few clouds. And then things look very chilly. We could be looking at our first freeze of the season. So those early morning shoppers on Friday, bundle up as it's going to be rather cold for all the shopping. Beautiful evening out there. Things are a little on the cool side into the lower 50s at the present time. And the winds are starting to kick up a little bit out of the south, about 5 to 10 miles an hour. So it's going to make for just a hint milder overnight.
Thank you, Tom. We're talking your news headlines now. You're looking now at John Burkhart, who was arrested on multiple drug-related charges near a Midland elementary school. The Midland County Sheriff's Office was investigating drug dealing in the 4300 block of Mercedes Drive that's located right across the street from Long Elementary School. MCSO refers to this area as a drug-free zone, and authorities say that Burkhart was in possession of fentanyl, meth, and marijuana. Burkhart is still in jail on bonds that are totaling $350,000. Continuing coverage now, the city of Odessa's network is apparently still down. That's after a cyber incident that happened last Thursday, and people haven't been able to pay their bills or handle business with municipal court since last Thursday. The city council said that last week a malicious script was found and removed from their system, and people have been asking about the shutdown on Facebook. The city replies saying, quote, "We're waiting on an update and we'll let the public know as soon as we have one," end quote. Speaking of Odessa, today is the first Odessa City Council meeting with its newly elected members. Item 13 on the agenda would see former city manager John Beckmeyer's authorization to use city funds removed. Item 15 appoints a mayor pro tem, and items 18 through 20 deal with employment agreements and contractual payouts for the city attorney, secretary, and former city manager Beckmeyer. Finally, item 22 is to have a discussion about a potential interim city manager. First Alert 7's Isabella Garriga is currently at that city council meeting. She joins us now with an update. Izzy, the new city council has been in an executive session for 2 hours. Can you update us on what's been talked about so far?
That's right, and they're still in executive session as we speak. But speaking on those items, item 13, considering necessary signatures in connection with city funds. This item authorized the removal of former city manager John Beckmeyer and got replaced with Kaylee Banda, which is the finance director. That keeps on with finance controller as Matthew McGee as an authorized signer, as well as Agapito Bernal, the deputy city manager. He's staying on as well. To item 15, Eddie Mitchell passed. Councilman Eddie Mitchell set motion to elect Craig Stoker as mayor pro tem, and that was passed. So Craig Stoker is now mayor pro term, which is basically a vice president position. On to the other items that they're currently discussing, that is A through E on the agenda here, and they are we're still waiting for about 5 more items to be discussed, and they're still not out of executive session until maybe in a few minutes. But that's all I have for now. I'll have the full story for you tomorrow, and thank you for now. Reporting for First Alert 7 News, I'm Isabella Griga.
Thank you, Isabella. This is your first alert that the boil water notice for Gardendale has finally been lifted. Residents can now go back to using water as normal for drinking, cooking, and cleaning. Now, this notice was first issued Saturday afternoon after a 12-inch water line break. Continuing to talk some public safety, AI is becoming more common for businesses and security. Angel Protection is an AI software that's programmed to detect weapons in schools and hospitals, and it's now being used at the Martin County Hospital. The software can be installed into an existing security system, and it runs 24/7, using AI to report any possible threats. Once a possible threat is reported, a video is reviewed by a human at Angel Protection headquarters to determine if it is actually an active threat. Once that's been verified, that is a real weapon in the possession of a dangerous person, an alert is sent directly to 911.
Typically, in past shootings, it's been anywhere from 60 to 120 seconds between the first shooting to first responders responding. So now, before even the shots are fired, 911 is being notified. 3 to 5 seconds is the goal.
This also allows the police to see what the suspect looks like and where they are at all times. The system is scheduled to be completely installed and implemented into Martin County Hospital District by January 1st, 2025. And the Midland Police Department held the conference today to discuss their 2024 holiday safety plan. MPD says that it's committed to keeping the community safe, and they'd like to share tips to Midlanders to protect their homes and their belongings throughout the holidays. Among the greatest threats this holiday season are porch pirates and thieves. MPD suggests notifying your neighbors of expected packages, utilizing cameras, and asking delivery drivers to hide your packages. In addition to all of that, Midland Police want to remind residents that we're all in this together, and just to be nice to everyone this holiday season while you're out shopping.
We're coming up on Thanksgiving. It is a time to be thankful. It is a time to show gratitude. It is a time to show patience. And please show that while you're out and about and you're shopping. Show that to the other customers who don't realize that there's a long line and they accidentally cut in front of you. Show that to the employee who is exhausted and trying to work and trying to make everybody happy. Please, 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 this holiday season, be nice, be courteous, and be aware.
Black Friday deals are already available, and many have started those shopping sprees a few days early. In addition to the Midland Police Department's safety plan, Texas DPS will also be doing their part to ensure a safe holiday by ramping up seatbelt, DWI, speeding, and move over, slow down enforcement operations across all Texas highways. During the 2023 Thanksgiving enforcement operation, a total of 11,525 citations were issued for speeding and 1,300 for no insurance, 596 for seatbelt or child seat violations. That resulted in 54 felony arrests, 36 DWI arrests, and 18 fugitive arrests. Continuing to talk about your holiday season, it's that time of year, and many organizations help put that meals together and go on special deliveries. One Bite at a Time Ministries is a cancer care ministry that walks with people through their battles with cancer. Today, over 100 meals were prepared to surprise these cancer patients in the West Texas area just in time for Thanksgiving. Volunteers of all ages stopped by Fairmont Park Church to bag Thanksgiving dinners and personally deliver them to the patients across the Midland-Odessa area. The Gobble Up Cancer Initiative aims to provide physical and emotional support from the community.
Kind of the whole premise behind One Bite is we give them a care package that has information about One Bite in our support groups, has an elephant in there, so how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. How do you fight cancer? One bite at a time.
One Bite at a Time Ministries provided fried turkeys, pies, and side dishes to these local cancer patients with the help of Volterra, HEB, HTO, and Buttermilk Sky. They're also servicing Lubbock, Seminole, Wink, Lamesa, Monahans, Andrews, and Big Spring. Back here at home, all flights from Midland to Dallas and Houston are expected to be completely full today. That's according to Midland International Air and Spaceport. They recommend that you arrive at least 2 hours before your scheduled flight, and that's for here in Midland, not just the big airports. TSA says it's going to make an effort to keep pre-check line to a 10-minute wait and 30 minutes for general boarding. The airport says to keep MAF's parking in mind as well. Now, we know that those lots get really full and you may have to park and walk a pretty long way, so be sure to plan for that. And across the nation, our Americans are expected to travel in record numbers for Thanksgiving and not just domestically. AAA says that international flight bookings are up to 23% from the same time last year. Our Washington correspondent Stetson Miller has trips from the State Department about what you need to know if you're going abroad this holiday season.
2024 has been a busy year for international travel.
You know, more Americans than ever before have passports, so more Americans are traveling internationally.
That's why the U.S. State Department in Washington has been sharing tips this week to make sure Americans are safe and prepared while traveling abroad this holiday season. And those tips start with your passport.
Go check the expiration date of your passport if you're planning to travel this year.
Assistant Secretary of State for Consular Affairs Rena Bitter says having a valid passport with at least 6 months of validity left on it is critical because some countries might not allow you to enter if it's close to expiring. She also says not to make any plans until you have your passport in your hand and recommends looking up your destination country's laws before getting there.
One piece of information that Americans don't often think about is ways in which local law differ from U.S. law. So Americans might get caught out. So for example, substances like cannabis that might be legal where you live, or firearms, frankly, ammunition, might not be legal at your destination.
Other tips from the department: register your trip with the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program. Check travel advisory risk level ratings, tell loved ones where you're going, and get travel insurance. And the State Department also recommends checking their website, state.gov, before you fly off. In Washington, I'm Stetson Miller.
Coming up, we've got an update on developments that are going on at the Texas-Mexico border when we return. We've got some news across Texas for you now at the border. We're going to take a look at some of that video there. Lots going on with developments with the wall that's being built up there. This month, Texas bought a ranch with 1,402 acres along the southern border. Today's event saw the beginning of a border wall on that land and saw Texas Land Commissioner Don Buckingham offer up that land to President Trump and incoming border czar Tom Homan to use for a processing and detention center to deport criminals.
Take, for example, the loss of our own children, like Jocelyn Nungary, Laken Riley, and Elizabeth Medina. No longer will the rape and murder of our sons and daughters be tolerated.
The Texas General Land Office now owns 2 pieces of land on the border in Starr County, encompassing more than 4,000 acres.
Well, we are tracking the weather for Thanksgiving. Looks okay right now. It's just going to be a little cooler. We'll talk about all that up next.
Now, from the First Alert 7 Weather Center, here's Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller.
Well, we are tracking the weather and a cold front just in time for Thanksgiving. Right now, travel weather is looking okay. We got a few high clouds moving across the state. But this looks at the weather makers right now. Moisture up around 18,000 feet in the atmosphere. It really defines the storm systems for us. We've been dealing with a flat ridge of high pressure. That's going to be replaced by this stretched out area of low pressure that's going to develop a storm system across the Four Corners area. And that is going to bring in some changes with that front. Already some mid to high level cloudiness streaming back in across portions of West Texas. Other than that, it's pretty quiet out there as we do have this trough starting to set up a little bit. That's returning the southerly winds to the area, and that's going to bring a west wind as it moves through coming up tomorrow. And that's really going to heat things up across the area. We could be pushing 80 degrees plus in many locations before this next front starts to roll down. Temperatures across the state, very comfortable, very fallish across most of the state of Texas. Now, futurecast winds are showing that they're going to stay up a little bit overnight tonight. That'll keep temperatures up, and then that west wind kicks in as that trough moves through tomorrow afternoon. Really not expecting the front until maybe around 7, 8 o'clock before it pushes through the Permian Basin, then through the Trans-Pecos by the evening hours with some gusty winds, and the colder air starts to roll in. So we'll start off Thanksgiving with a little bit of breeze in the forecast, but that should taper off a little bit as the day progresses. Again, mid to high level cloudiness moving across. More of it's on the way as we're going to see a lot more in the way of cloud cover, but nothing in the way of rain with this front moving across West Texas. So for the rest of tonight, again, not quite as chilly, but still down near upper 40s it looks like for most areas. And then for tomorrow, we'll see those temperatures again into the 70s to low 80s, especially across the Trans-Pecos. Again, the strongest winds look to be across southeast New Mexico into Guadalupe's, upper Trans-Pecos, maybe the northern Davis Mountains with some gusts about 40 miles an hour. Gusts to 30 plus across the Permian Basin. That front rolls through again late tomorrow afternoon into the evening hours. It'll roll through. We'll feel it. Temperatures all the way down to 39 by Thursday morning. Thanksgiving afternoon, 51 degrees with a few clouds. If you're heading out shopping Friday, bundle up as we'll be looking at possibly our first freeze of this fall season coming up for the Permian Basin with temperatures down to 30 Friday morning.
Up next here at 9, we've got a First Alert special report coming after the break. The UTVB Falcons giving back. We'll check in on the football team and their love for the community next. Stick around. UTPB football's new leadership has taken them in a new direction on and off the field. They've won a Lone Star Conference championship, and they're set to play in a bowl game in a week and a half. And they're also doing pretty well off the field. They're connecting with West Texans on a whole new level. First Alert 7's Jair Brooks Davis has the special report.
They are more than just players that play on Saturdays. The UTPB Falcons football team has completed hundreds of hours of community service throughout the Permian Basin since head coach Chris McCullough made it a priority when he first arrived.
All right, in the community, we're going to be champions. I am big on community service. We have a 1,200 community service hours goal every semester for our team, and we accomplished that this past semester at my previous school, and we're going to accomplish that every semester here.
And that was the standard McCullough set for his players when he was introduced in 2023.
You never really know. Whatever really pops up, he's never going to turn anyone down. If they need help with anything, we've helped out Roadhouse, a bunch of different other places, especially when it comes to Special Olympics. McCullough has a big heart for those kids, and we love helping those kids out as well, just trying to make their day.
Whether it's assisting in High Five Fridays, Habitat for Humanity, or helping the West Texas Food Bank, the team has proven to be reliable for organizations and businesses throughout Midland and Odessa. And despite a busy schedule, between practices, workouts, team meetings, school, and rest, players make it a priority.
I know there's so very limited time as a student athlete, but I think McCullough does a great job of just finding any free time that we have and just being able to help out the community. Me personally, I try to stay on top of my schoolwork, but just like everyone else, playing football and school at the same time is difficult and just part of life.
And the team does it with a smile on their face and has created a great connection with local nonprofits.
They definitely come in every Monday night. We feed them. They work for a couple hours. They never complain. They're always happy to be here. And even when we've had emergency situations or we've had short notice that we need volunteers, we can always reach out to the UTPB football team and they will show up and represent, and they are falcon up and volunteering and helping out our community.
And believe it or not, community service was discussed for players that were recruited, like Isaac Mooring.
The community service was one of the things that he sold me on. Of course, besides winning games, the ability to give back to the community was big. And yeah, I mean, stepping in as a leader, of course, as a quarterback, that's something that you have to do. But I think from a personal standpoint, I'm ready for the task. And I think my teammates have really helped me fill that role.
And now that UTPB home games are free and more accessible than ever, McCullough hopes to see the connection between fans and his program grow.
Having the most fans at our games than anybody else in the conference, that shows me that we've reached out to the community, we've given back to the community, and they're starting to love and value what we bring to this area of the Permian Basin. So hopefully we continue to grow the attendance, and I hope the community service is showing that we care, and I do say that the fan support is showing out as well.
The community service isn't just for the people who need it. It's also to set an example.
It was one of the first things we talked about in our program. Obviously, we talk about our culture, but part of that family culture is to give back. So we try to inspire this next generation at the elementary schools, the middle schools, the high schools, but also to the surrounding community of both Odessa and Midland. We're going to do everything we can to give back.
The team is looking to double the standard of 1,200 community service hours a semester, and they believe they can reach that goal. Still ahead, we've got a First Alert
Well, before we go, we got your First Alert 7 10-day forecast covering Thanksgiving for you. Travel tomorrow, I think you're going to be okay. It's going to be a little windy, especially across the Guadalupe Mountains. That's where you may have some travel issues, but I think most of the state of Texas, we're looking pretty good as that next front arrives late in the day. That's going to cool things off quite a bit. Only 51 for Thanksgiving. First freeze of the season for the Permian Basin. That's going to be a possibility Friday morning as all those early morning shoppers head out.
I'm so happy with these cold temperatures. It really is. It's been a long time coming.
Feels like Thanksgiving.
Thanks for joining us tonight. We've got more news coming up tonight at 10.